I would even go as far as to predict that if things are on any line or trajectory to release, that we will see some type of teaser, whether it be small or significant, sometime in April. And if not in April, there has to be something early May, or you can really start to dig into the reality that we may not see a new AAA Call of Duty title this year. Call of Duty 2020 has a lot of people talking, including myself, but not because of the actual content or any teasers or anything, mainly because of what it's going to mean for the community and what it's actually going to look like, and because of the state of the world right now. Now, obviously, we're in the middle of crazy stuff, and events are being canceled left and right all over the world in an effort to maintain public health. Tons of games are getting delayed because of studios shutting down for the time being, and a lot of the world is kind of at a standstill right now as we wait this thing out. But this is a Call of Duty channel, my friends, and something a lot of people have been talking about recently is how all of this is going to impact Call of Duty 2020. I understand in the bigger picture it's a video game. It's not what is important, but there are people looking forward and looking ahead to see what is going to happen. Now, the game, we already think it was in a rough spot. And today I want to see if we can dig into the details of everything we have regarding COD 2020. We can go over the possible outcomes, start a discussion about what we think is actually best for the series. So you guys let me know. Let me know what you want from Call of Duty 2020. Drop a like, make sure you have those notifications turned on, and let's go. Let's lay the groundwork right now. Call of Duty 2020 was in development by Sledgehammer Games. And according to recent leaks reported by the Gaming Revolution, it was a new COD sub-series set in the Cold War. But tensions were high between Sledgehammer and their supporting studio Raven Software, and things weren't coming together. So allegedly, about 9 months ago, Treyarch was sent in by Activision to completely take over the project, and they decided to convert the work into a Black Ops reboot. Once again, this is all speculation. Now, much of Sledgehammer's existing work was supposedly reused and reskinned in order to fit Treyarch's new vision of the game, but that does not change the fact that it's a modern AAA game that hasn't even been in development for, I guess, a year technically. So even without all the world events, I don't think the game was in a very good spot to start with. So that happened around July of 2019. Let's fast forward a few months. This global pandemic spreads and the global economy largely comes to a halt. So around February, we started learning more and more about events and games being canceled or pushed back in order to comply with all the new guidelines to slow down the spread. The ESL Pro League was moved from LAN to online. The 2020 Pokemon World Championship canceled. Overwatch League was reworked and scheduled and rescheduled. E3 completely canceled, and that's just a smidgen, a small piece of the pie. The Switch port of The Outer Worlds has been delayed. The later chapters of the Final Fantasy VII Remake are rumored to be getting delayed, and many of 2020's biggest releases like The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima are rumored to be getting delayed, as well as both of because of the lack of people that are able to work on the finishing touches, but also because many retailers are closed right now, and that's not even getting into the Xbox or the new PlayStation 5. AAA game development is pretty much non-existent right now, and as you know, these games are developed in big offices with everybody's computers all connected to one another, and all the employees have to sign contracts, making sure they won't show off any of the work, NDAs, all that good stuff. Most offices, they're closed now because you're not supposed to have big groups of people in one place, and obviously these big publishers aren't going to let a whole bunch of developers take their work home with them. That's just asking for more leaks and breaches of copyright. So what happens now? As I said before, COD 2020 is reportedly in a pretty rough spot. According to the leaks, playtesters have been rather happy with where the game is right now, but it's also nowhere near done. Keep in mind, Treyarch hasn't exactly been on the community's good side over the last few years as they launched Black Ops 4 in 2018, completely broken in a full batch of recycled content and assets, and then post-launch, updates were slow and many things were unfixed, and we're not going to talk about the monetization in that game. Call of Duty is a huge game, and every year, it seems there are launch problems. COD World War II, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare, all had rough launches and constant server issues, and this led to patches needing to be done, rushed out, time and time again. So, when you're thinking about releasing a COD game in the current climate, you have to remember, it's not just a matter of finishing the game and getting it gold. You also need to be sure that you have the workforce ready to patch it up and keep an eye on it once servers go live. And I think we all know this isn't going to work right now. The devs probably have to assume right now their support force is going to be limited once the game comes out if it does, and with how rocky development on the game is itself, I don't know just how much of a risk Activision is willing to take with the stability of the game, especially after 3 rocky COD launches in a row. But Black Ops isn't the only thing COD related going on. Modern Warfare 2's campaign was recently remastered, and despite Activision saying there was no plans to remaster the multiplayer, fans are talking right now on Twitter, and they're not convinced. Multiple sources, including the Gaming Revolution, have stated that Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer has already been remastered, it's sitting on the shelf, and Activision canceled in an effort to not split the player base from Modern Warfare 2019 in Warzone. Now, I shouldn't have to tell you that the community definitely has not been happy about this decision, but let me offer you guys a silver lining. Do you remember back when Modern Warfare came out? And the developers and Activision said there were no plans for a battle royale, even though everybody knew there was a BR in the works. Activision and IW, well, they had to cover it up a little bit, what they were working on, and many companies do this. The same people who predicted everything about the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered are also saying right now that Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer is completely remastered and done, but Activision is deciding against releasing it. Now, this could always change. They don't want to release the multiplayer because they don't want to split the player base. But what happens in a few months when that player base dies down? What happens when the time comes later this year to release a new COD game? If COD 2020 isn't ready, well, despite it being April, we haven't gotten any answers on teasers or anything like that. They could just go with Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, right? If they had to. I mean, it's odd, considering on a normal year, we usually have teasers now. And I know Activision is in a rough spot right now because I think we all know that COD 2020 is not going to be very polished, but we also know that Modern Warfare 2019 is not going to hold people over another year until COD 2021. But Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, that could do it, and that could give them that breathing room, that full year to get it ready. So here's what I'm thinking. Either COD 2020 is going to be released later this year and it's going to be rather patchy and underwhelming, or Activision could just say screw it and release Modern Warfare 2's remastered multiplayer in place of a mainline release. Now, during Activision's investor calls earlier this year, they did say a new COD would come out in late 2020, but they didn't say who was making it or what it was going to be called. So they do have a little bit of wiggle room, and at the end of the day, investors only care about what makes them money. So as much as I would love to see a Black Ops reboot in the new Modern Warfare engine, I do think it's probably a good idea to give them another year. Let it cook in the oven. Make sure everything is ready. After all, you don't want to be the 4th COD game in a row to have a bad launch. And as for this year's release, I say why not dump the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer? Warzone has shelf life. It's good. It's got staying power if they stay on it and keep it updated. And I mean, I know Modern Warfare multiplayer hasn't been received the best, but it's got a community. It's no secret that the next COD game really has to bring the community back together. We say that every year, I know, but it's been divided for years. Jetpacks and boots on the ground. So what better way than to play it safe, release Modern Warfare 2 remastered multiplayer as this year's offering while you're pushing Warzone and go that way. I know, it may be wishful thinking, but I think it's a much better idea to release the rest of MW2 and focus on Warzone and roll the dice on Black Ops as a reboot if it's not ready for October or November. I really want Black Ops rebooted. I think it's going to be fantastic when it comes. I just think what's better for the franchise right now is to go this way. I don't see the logic behind a lot of things that Activision has been doing with COD lately, but I think they really want to bring things back. This is what they do. You guys, let me know what you think. I will keep you updated on anything new. We should be seeing some type of teasers if things are on any path to be released this fall. I would even go as far as to predict that if things are on any line or trajectory to release, that we will see some type of teaser, whether it be small or significant, sometime in April. And if not in April, there has to be something early May, or you can really start to dig into the reality that we may not see a new AAA Call of Duty title this year. We may actually be going the other direction, which I already said. I'm okay with that, especially how things worked out with Warzone. It was a huge success. It launched at the exact perfect time. So why not take that momentum, give them Modern Warfare 2 remastered multiplayer with noob tubes and commando lunges and one-man army, and let everybody have a good fall. And as always, I truly, truly appreciate the support that you guys show on the channel. If you guys get anything from G2A.com, make sure to use promo code CHAOS and let me know on Twitter if you do. The link will be at the top of the description.